Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would sit down and do a video for you guys and gals. Well, let me give you guys a forearm shot first. All right, today, because I'm down to 212 pounds and cutting pretty fast, I've been losing about 2 pounds a week, by the way, for those curious. You know, I had someone say, man, why are you cutting slow? I'm like, a pound or two a week is not cutting slow. But I'm going to talk a little bit about what I'm doing with my diet to get there, the strategy. Because in this case, I am doing specifically a cutting diet. I'm not following what's best for my muscle growth. I'm not looking at, hey, what is optimal for whatever blood markers. I am looking at what is going to help me lose body fat quickly, to get lean, to work on getting more ripped, get my skin tighter, because again, I have loose skin from losing over 100 pounds, and while retaining muscle, and maybe with the small possibility of a little bit of recomposition. Because you guys see what I'm doing with the training. I've done videos. You see my vlogs every week. So you guys know I'm doing a bodybuilding split. I've gone over and training like a bodybuilder now. I am not training like a powerlifter, not training like a strength athlete. I am training like a bodybuilder on a 5-day split, and I do abs all 5 days at the end. So you guys see the training. People are seeing the changes. They're noticing. Thank you for all the compliments. Yes, I'm getting leaner, getting tighter. But yeah, I'm down to 212. It wasn't long ago I was just at 220. That was only like 4 weeks ago or less. So we're coming down. 212, guys. So at this rate, in another month, it could be down to maybe 204, 205. So what am I eating? Honestly, most of my non-protein calories are still plant-based. So I want to be clear on that. As a general rule, I think other than our animal source proteins, we should be eating plant-based diets. I'm not deviating from that. But what I am doing is very high carbohydrate, low carbohydrate, not very low. I misspoke. I'm not going to edit that out. Let's just leave it. Lower carbs. Not quite keto carbs, but lower. Because I'm focusing on protein. Heavy protein focus. And then a heavy focus on polyunsaturated fats. In fact, I'm kind of force feeding a lot of omega-3s for a whole host of reasons that we'll get into. All right, so protein. I decided to go back to my roots. You know, I've done discussions of protein overfeeding. I've done discussions of when I was coming up that everyone force-fed protein. It was not this even 1 gram per pound of body weight. Guys were eating 300-400 grams a day. It was the norm when I was younger, first at the gym, you know, really training like 25 years ago. All the OGs at the gym were all about protein, to the point to where today the research says there's no need to eat that much protein for muscle growth. It's not beneficial for muscle growth. But what are we finding with other things? Thermic effect, maintaining muscle, fat loss, appetite suppression. Protein is phenomenal at very high amounts. Again, look at those protein overfeeding studies we've discussed, where people were protein overfed and they started losing weight and body fat even when supposedly in a calorie surplus. Again, protein overfeeding in that context is something like, I believe 3.4 grams per kilogram of body weight. So for someone like me, that's over 300 grams, which is what I'm doing. But when I started out, guys were doing stuff like, 50, 100 grams of protein post-workout. That was normal. Lots of the big jacked older guys, that's how they ate. They would literally drink like a 70 or 100 gram protein shake at the gym. Now people are like, that's excessive, but is it? Look at the newest data on muscle protein synthesis in those really high intakes, even in one meal. Okay. Look at those protein overfeeding studies with the high protein shakes. It's not actually that irrational, especially if our goal is to get lean. Okay? Because we've got good data on this. So guys back then, that's how all the guys back then, they didn't bulk and cut to the same extent even the people do now. They're just like, let me just get big. And they would stay pretty lean because they were force feeding protein all the time. It's hard to get fat when you're eating 400 grams of protein. And you're a jack guy gaining muscle training all the time. Very difficult. Very difficult. All right. Same thing, you look at Martin Berkhan's approach. up to 50% of calories from protein. He would train fasted. The guy was shredded. Got a lot of people jacked and shredded. The guy was jacked and shredded. Very popular on lean gains. And it worked. So it is what I'm doing. I'm training fasted. My non-training days, I sometimes don't eat breakfast till noon. And then I force protein down. First thing, as soon as I break my fast, protein, protein, protein. Protein, protein, protein. It's what I do. But when I was younger, the guys would do that, and then an hour or two later, they go eat a high protein meal. I knew some of the big jacked guys who stayed lean. That's how they lived. They would sometimes go to a buffet after they trained, but they would hammer down the meat. There was a Chinese buffet there, right? I love to eat Chinese. Chinese buffet. Sorry, I had a little side thought there. And they'd go hammer down on all the chicken and the meat and stuff there afterwards. I knew a bunch of guys who did that, and it worked. So in that case, I am protein feeding like crazy. So yes, am I eating a fair amount of animal protein? You bet. But I'm keeping the animal fat very, very low. So it's a lot of whey protein, a lot of chicken breast. I still actually do some tofu and stuff in there because I learned to like tofu while I was doing the plant-based. And I've come to realize it's a totally acceptable protein and fat source. Great stuff. And it's very heavy in omega-3. It's mostly polyunsaturated fats. But, so a lot of Greek yogurt, a lot of whey, a lot of chicken breast. A little bit of eggs. Sometimes I get the omega-3 eggs, but that's a little bit of animal fat. I don't go crazy on those. Sometimes some egg whites. Make an egg white omelet. Throw some chicken breast vegetables in there. All right. But I'm eating over 300 grams of protein a day. My calories are over 3,000. I have not had days of under 3,000 calories. A lot of days are closer to 3,500 while losing this sort of weight. All right. People say, well, where are your carb sources? Well, I'm not eating actual true carb sources. The Greek yogurt every day has carbs. All my nuts have carbs. So major calorie sources are from nuts and seed oils. So I drink flaxseed oil every day. I add it to stuff. I add it to shakes. I add it to my yogurt. I have milled flax seeds in the freezer. I sometimes drop spoonfuls of that into the yogurt and the shakes, right? Peanut butter, walnuts. Sometimes I'm mixing some other nuts in, some almonds, cashews, whatever. But my largest calorie sources outside of all the animal protein are just nuts in general. A lot of natural peanut butter, a lot of walnuts, occasionally other mixed nuts, Brazil nuts, almonds, cashews, whatever. It's all good. It's all good. But I add a lot of omega-3, and then as far as fish oil, I am taking the extra strength, not the normal ones, and I'm actually trying to aim for what would be prescribed for a cardiac patients almost, the 4 grams of EPA and DHA a day, in addition to all those plant source ALA omega-3 fats. So my diet is extremely high in omega-3s and omega-6, extremely high in protein. Those actually constitute most of my diet. And then of course I fill in vegetables and salads and other stuff in there. So again, because my protein is so high, it's not truly hardcore plant-based because my lean animal protein is so high. But anything, literally anything I eat that is not a lean protein source is plants. And it's again, very, very heavy on nuts and seeds. And it's working great. And I may change some of those fats over to a little more carbs, but I feel like I'll look a little leaner with the carbs a little lower for now. Until I do get quite a bit leaner, then I can probably reintroduce a little bit more carbohydrate, drop the fat back down. But it's working very well. The workouts are good. You guys see the workouts every week on camera. Workouts are going great. The benching is actually doing good in spite of the weight loss, right? It's coming along nicely. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative. I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.